Running. And we are live.
All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our IFW public hearing committee meeting today. And as you all realize, this is an electronic meeting, and please bear with us. There's glitches and more glitches, and we'll be trying to work through them. So we ask for your patience. It's also being streamed live on YouTube, so you can watch it there. Also being recorded. Make sure your name is the way you want to be recorded on the bottom. I think most of you now have it set at the bottom of your screen, so that when it's time to do our voting, Linda can do our roll call. The chat is mainly just for technical information. If you need to put a telephone number or email address or something like that, it shouldn't be any information of substance that we need to have directly to us. We'll do, even though we don't have many today, a normal procedure will be do 3 at a time, and Linda will call those folks in when they're ready to testify. Just be sure that you're unmuted when you're ready to go. And of course, as always, you can submit written testimony. And with that, I think, as usual, there is no posters or that type of thing, or any props that you can hold up. You can't do screen sharing during your testimony. That would be the same thing. Representative Landry and I, during these meetings, have to be the background police, in that we have to check and make sure there's something that is inappropriate on background or on a t-shirt or anything like that. And if there is, all we would do would be shut the camera off or ask you to reposition your camera so that that's not in the shot. And only committee members can ask questions. So we will begin by committee introductions, and I'll go right in the order on the screen that I have. And so first is Senator Black.
Good morning, Senator Black, representing Senate District 17, which is all of Franklin County and 4 towns in Kennebec County.
Next is Representative Landry.
Good morning, Scott Landry. I represent Farmington, New Sharon, District 113.
Representative Neto.
Good morning, Kathy Neto. I represent District 78, which is Winslow and a portion of Benton.
Representative Terrio.
Good morning, Tim Terrio. I represent District 79, which is Albion, Benton, China, and Unity Plantation.
Senator Curry. You're muted, Senator Curry.
Sorry about that. Good morning, I'm Chip Curry, and I represent Senate District 11, which includes the 26 rural, coastal, and island communities of Waldo County.
Representative Mason.
Good morning, Representative Rick Mason from the town of Lisbon, District 56, where you can measure any snow drift and get any amount of snow that we got here.
Representative Martin. Danny.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Danny Martin. I represent House 150, located in northern Aroostook County. And this morning we do have plenty of snow.
Representative Ordway.
Good morning, Lester Ordway, District 23, which is part of the town of Standish.
Representative John Martin. You muted, Representative Martin.
Me okay?
I can hear you now.
Okay, John Martin, District 151, Northwestern Aroostook County.
Thank you. As other members join us, we'll have them introduce themselves at an appropriate time. Our clerk today, as usual, is Linda LaCroix,
Good morning.
and our analyst is Rachel Olson. And I'm Jim Dill. I represent Senate District Number 5, Northern Penobscot County, and I am the Senate Chair. And we have two bills to talk about today, and then I think a brief presentation or discussion with the department about airboats, possibly at the end of the public hearing, but we will see where we are with that. And our first one is LD 10, an act to allow resident hunters to harvest 2 bears per bear hunting season. And I think I have a total of just 3 at the moment people signed up to testify. And so with that, I will start with Senator Davis to introduce the bill.
Good morning, Senator Dill. It's nice to see you again.
You too, sir.
Representative Landry, I'm Paul Davis. I represent Senate District 4, which is all of Piscataquis County and parts of Somerset and Penobscot. Excuse me. I'm here before you today to present LD 10, and I'm reading this, as you can probably tell, an act to allow resident hunters to harvest 2 bears per bear hunting season. And I emphasize bear hunting season. We're fortunate here in Maine to have a very large bear population. And it's growing. It's grown over the years and it's growing right now. I think that it's important that we carefully consider as we go forward with advice and input from our wildlife specialists and the scientists, the best way to maintain the population that we have. We have seen in past years the population has grown, especially during dry years like we had this year. And the reason for that is the lack of nuts and berries and natural food that the bears have, or the bears want. So therefore they move into the more populated areas, and of course then nuisance, what they call nuisance, although some people probably call them terrifying, incidents that occur with humans making contact with bear. So all in all, it seems to me that this is a very logical time to discuss this whole issue. This is the same bill that we had last session, 2 years ago. And at that time, we worked it, and we worked it pretty thoroughly. And I believe we were quite ready to report it out when, of course, the session ended. So I brought forth the original bill. I believe Representative John Martin is going to bring forth the one that we worked on, and the changes that were made, I fully support them, but I thought that the committee should be able to see the original bill and make the judgment for themselves. There are a number of interesting facts that have come out about our session this last time, our harvest, and I would just go over it just briefly, and then I will try to answer any questions, but chances are real good I won't be able to. However, I know that the department's going to come forward, I believe, and they will. The harvest that we had last year was up considerably. They sold 12,000 permits, which is a rise from the average of 10,500, well over a 10% rise, maybe close to 15%. Interest in the outdoor activities, they claim, was perhaps due somewhat because of the pandemic. People like to be outdoors instead of cooped up in the house, and this is one place. I would be very interested if the department could supply the stats on the number of women that are now hunting bear. It's very interesting that overall the number of women has increased quite dramatically since we passed a bill a few years ago allowing their children to hunt, children under 10. The stats I got the other day were that the growth has been from 9% of the total amount of hunters that were women upwards to 14%, which is a considerable growth, and very pleased with that. Also, the harvest was up. The harvest in 2020 was 3,853 bears, which is considerably higher. And it's only about 100 bear less than the highest harvest that was in 2000 of 3,951. I'm not going to go into much more detail. I did tell you that the nuisance reports are up. The average of nuisance bear reports is 720. This last year, there was 833. In good years, when there's plenty to eat for them to eat, it's down around 350. So it increased considerably. With all of that, I would try to answer any questions, but I won't try to fool you. I don't know a lot about it. And I know that there's others behind me that do know a lot about it. So, Mr. Chairman, that is my report.
Thank you, Senator.
You're welcome.
Are there any questions for Senator Davis? Seeing none, oops, there we go. Representative Terrio.
I'm just curious if you're going to have any issue if we combine Representative Martin's bill with your bill or vice versa. You know, there's no sense in, we worked on this bill and I thought we came to a very good conclusion, which is what John, Representative Martin's put forward. So
I have no, excuse me. I have no issue at all. I support the changes that were made. I was there and I helped work it. I don't like the idea of just letting the residents do the hunting. I think non-residents should have a shot at it too. No pun intended. And the other changes were fine to me. I just felt that the committee, given there's a number of new members, including the House Chair of the committee is new on the committee, I felt that they should have the opportunity to see the original bill as well as the updated one.
Thank you.
Senator Davis.
Yes, Representative Landry.
Senator Davis, do you agree that it should be by rulemaking rather than statute? The change?
I guess I would have to think that through. I can't answer you. I'm sorry, Representative, but I hadn't thought about that. I want to give that a little bit of thought. I'll call you back.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions? Okay, we have actually more lined up. I have a new list from Linda that had signed up previously, and we'll get to those in a minute. But I see that Representative Lightfoot has joined us. So if you'd like to introduce himself, please, before we go on to the next.
Thank you, Senator Dill. Peter Lightfoot, District 129, Clifton, Eddington, Holden, Northborough, and Vesey. Thank you.
Great. So
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
If I might,
Yes, sir.
I'm going to take leave of you unless there is some reason you want me to stay.
I'll just ask one more time. Are there any other questions before he leaves? I don't see any. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You have a nice day.
The next two to testify is Representative Stearns, followed by Nathan Webb from the department.
I don't believe Representative Stearns is here.
Okay.
I will double check in case he came on late. I do not see him, so I can bring Nate in.
Yep, and then after that, the next three to testify after that will be David Trahan, Julianne Smith, and Don Kleiner. So after Nate Webb, Linda will let those three in as attendees, and then we'll go down through. Before I turn to Nate, just try to remember folks testifying that we are trying to limit testimonies to 3 minutes. We don't have a timer worked out yet. So today you kind of have a freebie, but once I have the timer worked out, it will be a 3-minute testimony for all public testimony. So with that, I will turn to Nathan Webb. Nate.
Thank you, Senator Dale. Good morning. I'm Nate Webb with the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. Speaking on behalf of the department, neither for nor against LD 10. This bill allows bear hunters who are residents of the state to hunt and kill 2 bears per bear hunting season. While the department strongly supports this bill's goal of increasing bear harvest in order to slow population growth, as currently written, we do not feel it will provide the flexibility needed to adequately manage the bear population. During the 129th legislature, this committee considered an amended version of LD 1118, which would have made several changes to the state's bear hunting framework, including allowing the hunting season to start up to 1 week earlier, reducing the cost of a resident bear hunting and bear trapping permit, allowing bear trapping under the authority of a hunting license, and requiring new bear trappers to take a bear trapping education course. LD 1118 would have also allowed the department to establish through rulemaking a bag limit for bear hunting of up to 2 bears. Establishing the bear bag limit in rule rather than statute is important because it allows the department to adjust bag limits regionally in response to changes in bear population status. LD 1118 was passed unanimously by this committee last year, but was not enacted into law due to early adjournment of the legislature caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. LD 1118 from the 129th legislature has been resubmitted as LD 142, titled "An Act to Give the Commissioner of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife Rulemaking Authority to Establish a Bear Season Framework and Bag Limits." Rather than enacting LD 10, we strongly encourage the committee to consider the comprehensive package of revisions to bear hunting and trapping contained in LD 142. I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time or during the work session.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Representative Lyford.
Thank you, Senator Dill. I came in a little late and I wasn't on the 129th. One bear can be taken with your hunting license. The second one requires a permit. Is that correct? And the third one would be with a trapping license?
So currently there is a 2 bear bag limit, 1 by hunting, 1 by trapping. A bear hunting permit is required except by resident hunters during the firearm season on deer. A bear trapping permit is required in order to trap for bear as well.
Thank you.
No. Are there other questions? Seeing none, thank you. The next 3 are again David Trahan, Julianne Smith, and Don Kleiner. So if you let those
I'll
in.
bring those
please.
in right. I'll bring those in right now.
Okay.
I believe they all should be coming in right now.
Okay. Next is David Trahan.
And Senator, if you would just check the chat.
Yes, I have others. I do see before you start, David. I do see that we have Katie Hansberry on here rather than Julianne Smith. And I don't have her on my list to testify. Is she on the list to testify? Julie? Linda? You're on mute, so I can't hear you.
I apologize. Yes, I believe both want to testify.
Okay.
And I'm sorry if I omitted one of them.
All right. So sorry about that, David. You're up.
Okay. All right. Senator Dill, Representative Landry, members of the committee, my name is David Trahan, Executive Director of the SAM Institute for Legislative Action. First, the SAM Institute for Legislative Action would like to thank Senator Davis for sponsoring this legislation to expand the department's wildlife management tools to manage the growing black bear population. Unfortunately, there was some confusion between the ILA and the sponsor of this bill when it was introduced. The SAM ILA first introduced this legislation 2 years ago, and like many bills, it was lost in the legislative session. We asked the senator to reintroduce it this session. Unfortunately, the amended version was not available to us. The only version of the legislation available at the time originated was with the department. Although we support the concept in this bill, we want any legislation the committee passes to reflect the coalition's work. So we support the amended version that is in Representative Martin's bill. We appreciate the fact that Representative Martin was able to acquire the amended language and introduce it in a separate bill. We don't care which bill the committee uses to move this bill forward, but we do appreciate the committee honoring the hard work and the agreements made last session by supporting the amended version proposed by Representative Martin's bill. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none, again, thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the list 4 is Julie Ann Smith. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, Senator Dill, Representative Landry, and members of the committee. My name is Julie Ann Smith. I'm the Executive Director of the Maine Farm Bureau Association. We have represented the voice of agriculture in Maine since 1951, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to serve as the voice of our farmers today. Our legislative committee, which consists of all farmers who interact regularly with bears, we're very much in support of this bill. We are concerned that not enough bears are being taken during the hunting season. We feel that an increase in the number of bears bagged would help with the population difficulties. We're seeing a lot more bears who are attacking beehives on farms. Those beehives are critical for crop production. So we would certainly support an increase in the bag limit of bears. So I just wanted to briefly bring that to your attention this morning. We certainly appreciate your time and work on this, and will later be testifying in support of Representative Martin's bill as well. I'm happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Before I turn to Don Kleiner, the next 2 testimonies after this will be against, and it will be Katie Hansberry, followed by John Glower. So Linda, if you want to let Mr. Glower in too, we'll proceed with Don Kleiner. Don, you're on.
Thank you. Good morning, Senator Dill, Representative Landry, distinguished members of the committee. You have my written testimony. I won't read it. I think our basic point is allocating the harvest strictly to non-residents sends the wrong mess, or strictly to residents sends the wrong message to our non-resident clients. I am delighted to hear that both the sponsor and the Sportsman's Alliance of Maine are supportive of Representative Martin's bill, because we will be as well. I think that is the vehicle the committee needs to pursue. And this essentially leftover from the previous session will not do what we need to do at this point. With that, I'll stop. Thank you. Happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Again, thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's all we have in favor of. Next up is Katie Hansberry.
Good morning, Senator Dill, Representative Landry, and members of the Committee on Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. My name is Katie Hansberry, and I am the Maine State Director for the Humane Society of the United States. On behalf of the Humane Society of the United States and our main supporters, I respectfully urge you to vote ought not to pass on LD 10. You have my written testimony. I'm not going to go through all of that. And you're basically going to hear me echo what you've already heard from folks at this public hearing today. As you've heard, LD 142, which proposes changes to the bear season framework, but importantly maintains the statutory bag limit of 2, is going to be before this committee for consideration soon. And that bill was the product of lengthy stakeholder collaboration. And respectfully, we would ask that you focus your attention on that bill. Again, you have my written testimony that goes into detail with respect to our concerns if you were to move forward with a statutory increase in the bag limit, which we are absolutely against. And I will end it there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none, again, thank you for your testimony. Next one against is John Glore. John, you're up.
I'm attempting to unmute him.
Okay.
I am now unmuted, okay?
Yep, we can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am going to read my written testimony because I think it's important for folks to hear it. Good morning, thank you. 2 years ago, Representative John Martin demonstrated, in my opinion, a serious lack of understanding of biology when he told me in private that feeding bears in Aroostook County has nothing to do with bears in Augusta. It has everything to do with bears in Augusta and elsewhere. This bill is the latest attack.
John, before you continue, would you introduce yourself, please? Tell us where you're from.
Oh, I'm sorry. John M. Glower Sr. from South China. Thank you.
Thank you.
This bill is the latest attack in the decades-long war on Maine wildlife and wildlife advocates. This bill is an attack on those 280,000 people who in 2014 voted to end Maine's bear feeding program. This bill is not for Maine people. This bill is solely for the benefit of a bear hunting industry, and I include IFW as part of that industry, and a tiny sliver of Maine people who get a thrill out of killing bears. Maine's bear population, according to IFW, is nearly double what it was in 2004, when we had the first people's referendum to end the bear feeding program. At that time, IFW told us that unless the voters approved continued bear feeding so that bears could more easily be killed, Maine's bear population would explode. Well, a majority of voters believe that lie, and by IFW's estimates, the bear population has since exploded. Maine's so-called bear research has become little more than a public relations stunt, a dog and pony show for the press and politicians. Maine's bear feeding program is intended to grow more and bigger bears for hunters and trappers, and it is working phenomenally well. IFW's biologists learned decades ago that bear reproduction was increasing, but they did not dare offer a reason. The only reason was and is the reliable dumping of millions of pounds of food at thousands of feeding sites during the summer and into the fall when bears are fattening up for the winter. A fatter bear produces more and bigger cubs. IFW knows this. A growing bear population needs more room. IFW knows this, and I hope the members of this committee now know this also. What is the solution proposed by the bear hunting industry in the guise of Senator Davis? Their solution is predictable: to kill more bears, to further enrich sporting camps, lodges, outfitters, and guides, and to bring in more hunting-related revenue to IFW. This bill is a sham and a travesty. In 2020, I submitted a petition to IFW and the Advisory Council to phase out Maine's bear feeding program over a 10-year period in order to decrease Maine's bear population to natural levels. The petition was denied unanimously. The people of Maine have tried twice to end bear feeding and unethical killing practices. This war between the special interests and the common good will not end until the state of Maine reforms its wildlife management system and manages wildlife for the resource rather than for itself and the special interests. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your testimony. Representative Lyford, question.
Yes, thank you. John, thank you for reading your testimony, because we do have a copy of your testimony, but if the general public is listening, they don't have. So I encourage,
yes.
I encourage everybody to read read their testimony. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there other questions, comments? Seeing none, thank you. Linda, is there anyone else that has signed up that I've missed from my list? You're on mute.
Yes, I believe Steve would, and I can move him in right now.
Sure. Good morning, Steve. Can you hear me?
I've asked him to.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning, Senator Dill, Representative Landry, members of the Inland Fish and Wildlife. My name is Steve Wood. I'm a resident of Green. I'm a master main guide and a lodge owner, and I support this bill. There's just a couple things that I think, I also support John Martin's bill, but also I feel that we haven't changed the way we hunt bear, the bear seasons since early 70s. And I'd like to see IFW move the bait season into October. I mean, I know Representative Martin's bill would allow it to open up a week earlier, but that's only going to help northern Maine. It's not going to help central and southern Maine at all. So I'll be testifying on that bill also, but I do support this bill, and I'd like to see it put into Representative Martin's bill also. That's all.
Great. Thank you for your testimony. Are there any questions? All right, seeing none, I will close the hearing on LD 10. And with that, I will open the public hearing on LD 116, an act to allow the Commissioner of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife to authorize the hunting of antlerless deer without a permit in certain areas. And Representative Landry, I believe this is submitted by you. So if after you present, I have Nate Webb and then David Trahan.
Good morning. Thank you, Senator Dill. I submitted this bill at the request of the department. So not knowing exactly where they're going with it, I would defer to a representative from the Department of Inland Fishery and Wildlife to present it. I know we have several bills regarding antlerless doe, antlerless deer permits. So I'm wondering, are we going to take them one at a time? Are we going to try to consolidate them all with that?
Yeah, that's a good question. And, you know, we've been trying to schedule things, but unfortunately they don't come right up. They're not referred to us in a good order. So unfortunately, we may end up taking them as they come. As far as public hearing goes, it's a little easier now, I think, with remote. It's not as crucial that we clump them together, because people that want to testify either for or against a deer bill, they don't have to come down 3 or 4 times. They can just link in. But certainly we'll try, I think, to work them together as much as possible so that on a given day, we'll have a deer day or whatever. But it kind of depends on how they come to us. We'll lump them as much as we can as we receive them, but we don't want to hold on to them either, so we can get our work done.
Definitely.
Yeah. Are there any questions for Representative Landry? All right, next up is Nate Webb from the department.
Good morning, Senator Dill, Representative Landry, and members of the Inland Fisheries and Wildlife Committee. I'm Nate Webb, Wildlife Division Director at the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, speaking on behalf of the department in support of LD 116. This bill authorizes the Commissioner of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife to allow hunters to take antlerless deer without an antlerless deer permit in certain areas of the state. This bill also clarifies that the requirements for issuing specific percentages of antlerless deer permits to landowners, non-residents, and junior hunters apply only when the permits are issued through a lottery system. Managing the harvest of antlerless deer is the primary tool used by the department to maintain balanced deer populations. Currently, opportunities to harvest antlerless deer during the regular firearms, muzzleloader seasons, and in some instances with the use of crossbows are granted through the annual Any Deer Permit lottery. An Any Deer Permit authorizes a hunter to harvest an antlerless deer in lieu of an antlered deer in a specific wildlife management district. The number of available Any Deer permits in each WMD is adjusted annually based on a variety of factors, including winter severity, deer population objectives, and productivity of the deer herd. The number of available permits in southern and central Maine is generally substantially higher than in northern, western, and eastern Maine, where winters are much more severe. In WMDs where the number of available permits exceeds the number of applicants, remaining permits are issued as bonus permits, which allows the holder to harvest an additional antlerless deer in the WMD specified. In several districts, we routinely issue Any Deer permits to every applicant in the district with some left over. This essentially functions as either sex hunting, but with the significant added administrative burden of issuing permits, processing swaps and transfers, and enforcing permit compliance. This bill would allow the department through rulemaking to formally establish either sex hunting in WMDs where the number of Any Deer permits routinely exceeds the number of applicants. Approximately 40 to 50% of active deer hunters apply for an Any Deer permit in a typical year. This means over half of deer hunters don't apply in the lottery, which is a large untapped source of potential antlerless deer harvest. In WMDs where it is currently challenging to achieve antlerless deer harvest goals, providing the opportunity to take an antlerless deer without the need to acquire an additional permit may encourage some of these hunters to do so. We expect that this tool would be used only in districts where the traditional Any Deer permit lottery is not successful in achieving antlerless deer harvest goals over a period of multiple years. And I would be happy to answer any questions at this time or during the work session.
Thank you. Are there any questions? I thought I saw a hand, but now I don't. They must have taken it down. Oh, there we go. Representative Lightfoot.
Thank you, Senator Dill. Nate, I've received several emails opposed to this bill from folks on MDI, Mount Desert Island, concerned with hunting down there. I guess my question would be to you, if this bill was to pass, would the towns be able to stop this if the town had a town meeting and voted not to allow it?
So towns do have the authority to regulate and limit firearms discharge in their municipality through ordinance. So that is a tool that is available typically for safety purposes. They do not, however, have the authority to limit hunting that's established through the regular season framework. That being said, in the rulemaking process, were we to move forward with this tool, we would certainly be considerate of concerns from municipalities in a wildlife management district where we were considering using this tool.
Thank you.
Are there other questions? Seeing none, thank you. Up next is David Trahan, followed by Julie Ann Smith and Don Kleiner. So if you want to let Don Kleiner in, please, Linda. And we'll start with David Trahan.
Honorable Senator Dill, Representative Landry, members of the committee. Again, I'm David Trahan. I'm the Executive Director representing the Sportsmen's Alliance of Maine Institute for Legislative Action. And I'm testifying neither for nor against LD 116. This testimony first was prepared by Jerry Levine. He's our consulting wildlife biologist. And it's a little bit longer and it may take me 4 minutes to get through, but if the chairs would allow, I think you would benefit from his over 35 years of experience managing white-tailed deer. First of all, LD 116 would allow the IFW to designate a wildlife management district or a part of one open to either sex deer hunting without the use of antlers permits of any kind. There would be no restrictions on the number of hunters participating in the deer hunting as long as they are properly licensed. The author appears to have submitted it because the department has failed to meet doe harvest quotas in some of the central and southern Maine wildlife management districts in recent years, using any deer, bonus deer, and expanded archery permits. The sponsor seeks to remedy this by allowing unlimited hunter access for antlerless deer hunting in a particular WMD or a portion of one when needed to meet its doe quotas. In essence, for that place and time, hunters would be allowed to pursue deer of either sex in that WMD, much as was the case prior to the implementation of the antlerless deer harvest restrictions in 1985. The SAM ILA is reluctant to oppose any reasonable legislation that would improve the IFW's credibility or capability to manage deer populations. The ability to designate areas open to either sex hunting by rule as authorized by LD 116 would certainly qualify as an improvement over the current authorities granted to DIFW. Yet the SAM ILA believes the department should realize that designating a WMD for either sex needs to be a choice of last resort in their efforts to achieve desired goals. In a wildlife management district open to either sex deer hunting, doe harvest quotas will need to be high, and achieve doe harvests will be subject to considerable fluctuation. In a permit type of doe harvest system, the IFW restricts the pool of hunters having access to doe hunting to something less than the total number of deer hunters hunting that WMD. Under either sex hunting, all hunters will have an opportunity to kill a doe. Hence, doe harvests will solely be a function of the total number of deer hunters and their average success rate. In a snowy season, success rate will increase, leading to higher doe harvests. In addition, an either sex hunting area will draw an unknown number of hunters from all over the state into that WMD. Without having some prior knowledge of the increased hunter movement into the either sex hunting area, the department risks overharvest of antlerless deer. In addition, increased hunting effort is likely to place more pressure on antlered bucks, leading to reduced abundance of mature bucks in the future. Also, migration of additional hunters may intensify landowner conflicts. Finally, the loss of hunters from WMDs with more restrictive doe harvest strategies could lead to unrealized doe quotas in these WMDs. The unintended consequences outlined above are not mere speculation. All of these changes were observed in the 1983, 84, and 85 when the IFW created a 4-zone system in which central Maine remained open to either sex deer hunting, while the southern Maine and down east zones were restricted to bucks only hunting for 3 weeks. There is no question that the use of any deer permits has become a less efficient means of predictably achieving doe harvest quotas. The issuance of any deer permits was never a one-to-one relationship to the adult doe harvest quota. Some permit holders choose to kill an antlered buck, while others may take a fawn. Still others may not kill a deer at all, while some may not have hunted at all. During the early years of the any deer permit system, 4 or 5 permits were typically required to see a single adult doe tagged. Today, that ratio of permits to does harvested has doubled in some WMDs. This inflationary trend in the issuance of any deer permits likely has several causes, among them an aging hunter force that spends less time in the woods, and issuance of permits to hunters who really have little intention to shoot a doe. In recent years, the department began allowing permit applicants to rank their preference among up to 6 WMDs. I believe that this change was a mistake. Too many hunters are applying to WMDs in which they have better odds of drawing a permit, yet they may never travel to that WMD to hunt, hence wasting that any deer or bonus permit. Before supporting LD 116, the SAM ILA would like the committee to direct the department to form a stakeholders group to investigate why any deer permits have become less efficient and then report potential remedies. For example, returning to a single choice when applying for an any deer permit. In summary, The SAM ILA supports giving the department this management tool, but first let's reform the any deer permit system. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Again, thank you for your testimony. The next
Thank
three
you.
I have is Julie Ann Smith, Don Kleiner, and Steve Wood. With that, I will start with Julie Ann Smith.
Good morning again, Senator Dill, Representative Landry, and members of the committee. My name is Julianne Smith, and I am the Executive Director of the Maine Farm Bureau Association. And I will briefly just state that farmers have had incredible difficulties with deers, especially this winter with the low snowfall. The wild blueberry growers who are already in dire straits are seeing their fields attacked because those new growth buds are now visible. They typically would have been covered up with snow. And we have worked with IFW very positively, trying to mitigate deer damage on crop production. Our farmers have been given tools such as propane cannons, fencing, and other ideas, but yet we are still seeing significant damage every year from deer because of the doe harvest quotas are not being met. So we do support this bill. We do believe there is a necessity to increasing the number of opportunities that hunters have, especially with the fewer number of hunters that are actually actively hunting each year. And we would respectfully ask that you support this bill to increase those opportunities to better regulate the deer population to help the farmers.
Great, thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I will move on. Thank you. Don
Thank you.
Kleiner.
Yes, thank you, Senator Dill, Representative Landry. Don Kleiner with the Maine Professional Guides Association. I think one point that was salient in Mr. Trahan's testimony that I don't want you to gloss over, and that is opening up one WMD while the surrounding districts are not open under the same system may create significant landowner issues. I mean, we may have movement of hunters here in a pretty big way that we're not all anticipating. I like the idea of moving forward cautiously. Stakeholder group maybe makes sense, but we need to give this some very careful thought. Thank you. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Again, thank you for your testimony.
You're welcome.
Next is Steve Wood. Steve, welcome again. You're muted. I like this system.
Good morning, Senator Dill. Good morning, Senator Dill, Representative Landry, members of the IFW committee. I support this bill and its concept. I do think that we need to monitor the number of hunters coming into an MD so that we don't overtake those in certain MDs. And so I am in agreement with Don Kleiner and Dave Trahan. So mark that on your calendar. That's about all. I just have those concerns also that there may be too many hunters coming into an MD. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none. Linda, are there anyone else that I've missed? Is there anyone else I've missed?
I have no one else on my list. I believe everybody is covered.
All right, well, thank you. If there are no further questions from the committee, I will close the hearing on LD 116. Now, before we move into, I think the commissioner had volunteered to give an update today on airboats. Is that correct, Commissioner? My concern is that since we didn't put this out there may be people that would be interested in hearing this. So I think we probably ought to put it on a schedule as soon as we can So to give someone some notice, perhaps, I think next week, if we wanted to put it, when's the next schedule going out, Linda?
The next schedule will actually go out, what's today? Thursday,
Today,
tomorrow.
Wednesday? Okay, so maybe if we can squeeze it in, Representative Landry, next week, is that looks good? I'll ask actually too, I'll ask Rachel. I don't have next week's schedule in front of me. Do we have a day that we might be able to put that on without any problems?
Sounds like a good idea. I don't know what the dates are.
No,
I'm pulling up the calendar.
my concern only is that certainly some of the Marine folks would probably be interested in hearing it, and they're not here. So, and there may be other people out there that would be interested. I don't know what you have to say on it, Judy, but
yeah, Senator Dill, if
yeah.
I may, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. We will give a full report out
okay.
later in the season. So this is just a brief update. So
All right.
Committee is aware of kind of the interim steps we're taking.
Okay, that's good then.
Okay, great. Thank you.
ahead.
Senator Dill, Representative Landry, I'm Judy Camuso, Commissioner of Maine Fish and Wildlife. And I just wanted to give you a brief update on some of the steps we're taking to try and address some of the noise issues associated with airboats. As you know, we did have a rule proposed that we did not move forward with through our advisory council. And so we have since convened a group of stakeholders, and we will be working through a consensus-based rulemaking. That group of stakeholders has their first meeting this afternoon. That is both members of residents of the area, as well as the clammers and representatives from our staff and Marine Resources, as well as both of the towns that are represented or impacted primarily by this issue. So we will begin the rulemaking process, the consensus-based rulemaking process. That meeting is today from 3 to 5. So there are designated stakeholders invited, but the meeting is of course also open to the public. Next, I think it's next Wednesday at 10, we will also be doing a demonstration on the water down in the Harrisicot River. And our goal is to have a recommendation to bring forward to our advisory council by the end of February. And then we would then go through the regular rulemaking process. So we just wanted to give you an update as to where we are and how we're moving through this. And then we will do a full report back to both committees as soon as we're able to.
Great. Thank you. Sorry, miscommunication on my part. I thought maybe it was going to be broader, so.
Yeah, no, just a quick update.
Yep, no, it's good. Are there any questions, concerns? Representative Ordway.
Commissioner, thanks for that update. Don't we already have a decibel limit on watercraft statute? And why?
We do. The challenge with airboats is that the decibel limit is on engine noise, and the noise from the airboat actually comes primarily from the propeller. So very different sounds and noises, and the way we can measure those two things is quite different. And our ability to measure the propeller is not the same as our ability to measure engine noise. So there is an engine noise definition, but that doesn't really apply for the airboats. And I think anybody that's been near one knows they are pretty loud.
Thank you.
Other questions? All right, thank you for the quick updates. Linda or Rachel, is there anything else that we have today before I ask for motion to adjourn?
Not from me.
And Rachel's shaking her head no. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Representative Ordway moved. Is there a second? It's been seconded by Representative Curry, Senator Curry, excuse me. All in favor, just raise your hand. None opposed. Thank you all, and see you next week.
Does Representative Leifer have a question?
Yep, I just saw that.
Thank you, Senator Dill. I just wanted to have a conversation with Linda, if I could.
With Linda? Yeah, sure.
Okay, certainly.
All right, goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
I'll stay on, Representative Lyford.
Thank you. Hi there.
Hi.
What's the phone number there?
The phone number here is 287, make sure I'm giving you the right one, 1338.
Can constituents call that number, or is that just for us?
Anybody can call it.
Okay. Now, if they want to send written testimony in, how do they do that?
Written testimony is done online. There is a portal. And if you go to, let me see, maybe I can screen share this for you. This will be one of my first time screen sharing. If I can find it, hold on one moment. Okay. If they want to submit written testimony, are you seeing my screen?
I am.
Okay, follow my cursor down. See testimony submission?
I do.
When they submit it there, and this is the best way to tell them to submit it, it not only automatically goes online so anybody can see it, you can see it, it automatically gets sent out to the committee members and to me so that I can have it for the master files. But this is the best
just go
way.
into maingov.com, IFW, and
I'm sorry?
go into maingov and then type in IFW.
To reach this?
Yes.
No, for this is just legislature.maine.gov takes you to our legislative website.
Okay.
And then this is the first screen. This is the home screen right here. This is the first thing that people see. So they just need to scroll down to the bottom of this gray area, testimony submission.
Yep.
Click on that, and then the instructions for what they need to do is really very simple.
Okay.
And then once they they have the option to either upload it from, a file that they have in their computer, or they can hand type it in, either way. And then once it's in there, like I say, it's automatically posted to the website, which they can then see over here, testimony display. You have to give it a little time for it to actually post, but then they can actually go in and see it there. That's where you folks can go see it, but then it automatically gets sent out to all of the members.
And if they want to testify in person, like some did this recently.
Right now, they do need to contact me directly, preferably via email. They can attach their testimony at the same time. Even if they've already posted on the web, it's not necessary to send it to me because I'll get it. I'll get the list, but they can. And they let me know. And I have actually, representatives sent out last week an email to all of the interested parties that gave instructions on how to do written testimony, how to do, in-person oral testimony, and how to go about all of that. What I can do, and actually I was so rushed to get it out to them, I didn't send it to all of you. I think what I'll do later today is send that same email out to all of you, and then if you have someone say, gee, I don't know how to do this, and they never got that, you can forward it to them.
That would be very helpful because I have had a couple ask me. And
right.
When do they call you? The day of testimony?
Oh, please, in advance. Please, as far in advance as you can, because then I need to get them, into an email to send the link to. And if I've got individuals all calling in that morning, I mean, I do get some, and I'm sure I will get some, but the further in advance, the better. And then I can have them in my list so that when it's time to send out the link to everybody, I can do it all in one email.
My final question is that right now on my calendar, I have us on the 15th and the 17th at 10 o'clock.
Rachel can probably address that better than I.
Representative Lyford. Yes, we are moving our start time from 9 to 10, starting the week of the 15th. Although we do not have a committee meeting on the 15th because it's President's Day.
And next week hasn't been sent out yet.
Next week has been, it's been advertised. It's on the legislature's webpage. I have not sent out a calendar to the committee members yet through email, but it is on the website at this time.
Okay.
And then we are moving to 10 o'clock for both Mondays and Wednesdays, starting on the 17th, because there was significant conflict on Wednesday mornings prior to 10 o'clock.
Very good. Thank you, both of you, for your help.
You're very welcome.
And just so you know, Representative Lyford, the schedule that I send out, I usually send out on Thursdays for the following week.
Okay, thank you. Good.
Is that it?
That's it.
Fantastic. All right, then I will end this meeting.
Thank you.